Hey everyone, good afternoon. My name's Heather Gray. I'm an executive coach and therapist over at choosetohaveitall.com. If you're just joining me for Resolution Reboot, you're finding me at the end of the challenge. I've been working with folks since the start of the new year on setting themselves up for success and meeting the resolutions and goals they had for themselves for 2017, and today's day 6. I had thought to myself as I was starting this and getting ready to talk to you all that, like, oh man, I should have done a 5-day challenge. It fits into a work week and a sort of Monday through Friday slot so much easier. It's so silly of me to have a day 6. And maybe people have already forgotten about the challenge, and that gremlin in my head kept nagging at me, telling me that I may have, set myself up for failure with this challenge, that perhaps people had lost interest by now. But one of the things that kind of quickly occurred to me after is that the 6-day challenge doesn't fit into a neat little box, right? Like you couldn't get it in your inbox just every single day, Monday through Friday at the same time in a way that would really work in a common sense, logical way. And it might even be inconvenient that you had to wait the 2 days over the weekend to get the last step and skill and strategy here. But I also think too, there's a lesson in that, because I think that when we think about our goals and the things that we want for ourselves, how often do they really fit into tight, neat little packages that fit the way our lives are already built or feel like common sense? I think the things that we want for ourselves when we say we want something to be different actually never fits into a box, and it never really makes complete sense, and it's certainly never logical. And I think that part of the lesson here is, how do we make room for the things that we say are important when they don't seem to fit? And so I think that this actually, little gremlin in my head was actually helping me talk to you a little bit about how you just simply have to make your goal non-negotiable. I had something I wanted to say. I really did believe that there were 6 skills and strategies you needed to set you up for success. I didn't think there were 5, and I didn't think I should cut one off the list just for it to make sense. I had to deliver the content that I thought was most important in the way that I thought it was most effective. So this is how it turned out. So if you're kind of scratching your head, kind of wondering about my thinking, there it is. I'm communicating transparently for all of you, and that was exactly my thinking. Which brings me to day 6. So if you've been with me every single day, thank you for joining me in this journey, in this challenge. This is the first time I've ever done something like this on live with a group of people. I've done it locally with client groups in my local town, but this is certainly the first time I've done something on a wider scale and have done it online. So I thank you for joining me and helping me make it so successful. And day 6 is basically one word you need to understand and to know, but 2 different meanings and 2 different ways you need to apply it. And that word is yes. Plain and simple, 3 little letters, but yes. The challenge, if you want to set yourself up for success, is to learn how to say yes with more consistency. So the first way you need to start thinking about this is to say yes to yourself when you get those little wins. When you get to the gym, when you said you were going to get to the gym, when you save the money in the bank that you said you were going to save, when you have the hard conversation with people that you knew was necessary and important for you in order for your boundaries to be respected, understood, and appreciated. There's something to be said for acknowledging our small wins, our successes, the lessons we've learned as we learn them. I think sometimes people focus too much on the destination. They focus on how, like they're not going to recognize themselves and they're not going to be proud of themselves until they get to the thing that they said they were going to get to, rather than recognizing all the little baby steps along the way. But I think if you're trying to dare greatly and you're trying to make big changes for yourself and build a better life, your goal you want for yourself may still be several months out. You may not be looking at any signs of it coming true for 2 or 3 more months now. And if you don't recognize the steps you've taken to get there, if you don't give yourself credit for the times that you said you were going to do something and you did it and you followed through on it, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. Part of this challenge is to recognize that your goal matters, to put you on the list. And if somebody else accomplished what have been accomplishing for yourself, my guess is you'd be saying yes to them too, and you'd be congratulating them and encouraging them to keep going. And you owe it to yourself to do the same thing, because without motivation, we start to falter. We lose sight of the things that we're working on, the things that are important to us. And sometimes we just let things pass without even knowingly being aware of it. It just kind of happens. But if we're marking milestones and little tiny achievements along the way, we're staying in tune to the journey. We're staying in tune to what it is we're working on. And each time we take a step, each time we're closer to getting there, we're acknowledging our own achievements. And until I think we can show ourselves the respect we deserve for meeting our own goals, we're never going to, be able to get that kind of respect from other people. I think it starts with us. I think we have to recognize our own achievements, because we're the ones who set these goals for ourselves. Waiting for other people to notice, waiting for other people to say good job, puts our self-respect in their hands. And it makes us vulnerable to being let down, to hurt feelings. But if we know what we've been working on, and we know the mile markers along the way, and we pay attention to those, I think we're just far much more better off all around. The other thing that you got to think about when you say yes is how open you are to new opportunities, new ways of being and living that can help you get there. So how do you learn to say yes to something that might scare you, something that seems new or unfamiliar? How to lean into the vulnerability of a new experience. If you've been looking to try new things, and for you that meant like going to the gym and, going on a weekend away to some place you've never been, but someone invites you rock climbing, you may not recognize it, but rock climbing actually could be this cool thing to say yes to, because it's a new experience. It's physically fit and active. It takes you outside your comfort zone, and it gives you something new to work on. But if rock climbing comes along because someone mentioned it and you take an automatic pass to it because it doesn't seem to make sense to you, it doesn't seem to fit you, I think that you're losing sight of destinations and ways of getting to your goal that you may not have planned or thought of. And those new experiences, those things that kind of show up outside of our comfort zone, sometimes are the most important things we need to do in order to meet our goal. And, me coming on Facebook Live for 6 days practically in a row is a big deal for me. And it's this thing that I had to say yes to, because I had this goal of connecting with people. And everything I've been learning is that you have to do that more consistently across a couple of different avenues, and that I couldn't just do it through writing to each of you. I had to connect on a larger scale. So I said yes to live video, and it scared the crap out of me. I've been using this as an example all week, so if you've been with me, you know what I'm talking about. But eventually it got easier. And with each kind of stumble and missed word and repeated thought, I got more comfortable being imperfect. And I learned some skills about live video that hopefully will get me better serving you in the days and weeks ahead. It also really helped me clarify what's important to me in terms of what it is I want to say, how I want to teach people. But the only way any of that happened is I had to say yes to this new thing, this kind of confusing beast, if you will. I had to take a chance, and I had to be new at something, and I had to say yes. And I think sometimes one of the reasons why people don't meet their goals and don't succeed in the way that they hope they would is sometimes they don't say yes. They don't see that the thing that they're turning down or taking a pass on or procrastinating on or waiting for another day on is the very thing they need to set themselves up for success, is the tool, is the strategy, is the key to getting to where they want to go. It doesn't look like what they thought it looked like, so they don't say yes to it, and they've slowed their journey without even realizing it. the challenge and the beauty in living a life that's bigger than what we know now, the only way that happens is if we kind of push back on the doors and the walls and the limits we've set on ourselves and start saying yes to the things that show up, that scare us, that we didn't anticipate, that seem to offer us a new way of living and being, because that's how we're going to learn this stuff. It doesn't happen just by sitting and thinking about it. It doesn't happen just wishing it. You have to start saying yes to the things that come your way, that show up in your life. And, just as true, when you do take that risk, when you do take that chance and you step outside your comfort zone, you've got to recognize the risk you took, the courage it took to do that, to lean into that vulnerability and to risk maybe failing. It's worth noting for yourself, because until you start paying attention to the things that you did that scared you, that you did anyway, it's easier to stop at the fear. But the more you kind of check in with yourself, and the more you recognize that the list of things you've done, even though you were afraid, even though you were uncomfortable, is actually starting to get longer, you start to feel more capable, and you're able to tune into yourself, tune into the things you want that are important to you, the life you want to live, and you take steps that bring you closer to getting there. But if you don't recognize these steps, if you don't recognize these opportunities and say yes to both of them, you've set yourself up to fail practically before you've started. So I want you to think a little bit about the goals you set for yourself. And when you were looking at 2017 beginning, what did you want for yourself? What are those things that you said you wanted to be different at the end of the year? And what are the steps that you're going to need to take to get there? What are the milestones you're going to look for so you can celebrate them? And also, too, what are the opportunities that you are going to seek out, that you're going to say yes to, that might get you closer to getting there? I know this is scary stuff, and I know I'm challenging you to think differently, but if you want a bigger life than what it is you have now, you have to dream a little bit bigger. And you have to see the things that are possible outside of your comfort zone, because sometimes everything you're waiting for is just outside your comfort zone. I had so much fun talking to you guys for the past week about this. I really believe that anything you want for yourself can happen. You can have anything you want, you just can't have everything. You just have to make the choices to get there, to decide who you want to be, how you want to move through the world, and what you want your life to be like. And then look at the steps you're going to take to get there. I know it's kind of scary and unfamiliar, and it's going to cause you to, some moments of pause, and that's totally okay. But so long as you haven't given up, you're able to keep going. So pay attention to this week and how it went for you, and the goals you set for yourself, and the things that felt good, the things that worked, the things that didn't, and use that as knowledge to fuel you going forward, because I'm not going to be in your inbox every single day talking to you about this stuff, and I'm not always going to be online talking about goals and aspirations, because there's other things I want to get to you on. But you got to keep this in mind. And if you're stuck, or if there's something that I didn't answer that you've been struggling with this week, really do email me. My email address is heather@choosetohaveitall.com. You can easily find me there. Send me your question. I'd love nothing more than to get you on the right path for success and answer any question that can help you achieve your goals. Thanks so much for joining me on this first challenge. It was really, really fun. I'm going to be bugging you for feedback, because I certainly want to know what you'd like me to cover in the next challenge. Thanks so much. I hope you guys feel like your new year is set up for success, and I'm really, really glad you joined me for this. Thanks so much, and have a good day. Bye-bye.